Welcome everybody to Finance and Corporate for June. And we have apologies from the Mayor, Councillors Webber, Gower, and also from Bronwyn Korahiki. So could I have a mover? Thanks Lou, thanks Susan. All in favour? Contrary no, it's carried. Disclosure of members' interests.
Sorry, item 7, Cambridge Tree Trust.
Right, okay.
New community lease for Cambridge Tree Trust.
Yeah, thank you. I doubt that you'll need to leave the room or anything, however, so thanks for that. Late items. No. Okay, in that case, we'll move to confirmation of order of meeting. No changes there, Ken?
No, there shouldn't be to it.
All good. So could I have a thanks, Bruce? Thanks, Claire. All in favour? Contrary noes, carried. And we will move to confirmation of the minutes of the last meeting held on 18th of May. That's pages 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So thanks, Roger. Thanks, Elwyn. All in favour? No. It's also carried, and we'll move on to the financial report for the period. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say that the Cambridge Model Engineering, or not the engineering one, but the Model Train Club that's over there, have just having the most wonderful time since they got their building there. And it's just so lovely to see all the younger community now coming in and learning about the trains and how they work, how the electricity works. And some, you know, when you see a project that's gone through our hands and it's just so successful, I can't miss it.
Awesome. Thanks, Hazel.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was just looking for
We're going to need somebody in this.
yeah,
You do it.
here she is, walking on the border. Yeah.
So item 6 is financial report period ended 31 May. Welcome, Nada. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Good timing.
Nice timing, yeah. So unless Ken wants to introduce you,
No.
take it away.
All good. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I have the financial report here for the 31st of May. The total income is currently at 96% of the forecast, and our operating expenditure is at 87% of the forecast. Subsidies and grants are at 83% of the forecast. Significant activities are at 91% of forecast for the gross revenue, sorry, and the overall expenditure is at 88%. Our capital expenditure is at 77% of forecast, it's 103 million. We have no budget changes this month. Our key risk indicator report there, borrowing interest rates is still 1.28%. And I think it's pretty much the growth impact on rates is the same as last month, so that's at 2.56. With our rates at the moment, we currently have amounts outstanding of 99,000 for previous years, and we have just over $1 million outstanding for the current year. And our water rates, there is a total amount outstanding of 1.6 million. There were prepayments of 119,000, so there's a total of 1.5 million owing. And I'd just like to point out in that table, on the last page, the dates there actually referencing the 1920 year, but that's wrong. It's actually the 2021 year, so apologies about that. Is there any questions regarding the?
Roger, then Claire.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you through you, Mr. Chair. Particularly going back to the rate status, I mean, we're only 1 month now before the end of the year. And to me, the increase in rates owing from prior years, is that a reflection of the impact of the current COVID and economy, do you think? Because it's actually quite a considerable movement, 58,000 to 99. If you look at that as a kind of a percentage increase, it's quite considerable. What are your views on that?
I'd actually, Ken.
Actually, sorry, what was the question, Councillor?
Oh,
My apologies. Yeah.
sorry, I thought we were all at the meeting.
Yes, yeah. No, my apologies.
Just questioning the total rates owing from prior years.
Right.
We're close to the end of the year now, so we're getting close to getting the final picture. And the increase in rates owing from prior years seems to have increased quite considerably, both in terms of dollar value, 58,000 to 99,000, which is what?
Correct.
70% increase, something of that nature, and 86 down to 82%. Is that a reflection of what we've been through this last year, the impact of COVID and the economic downturn on the ability of our community or section of our community to pay rates?
Yep. So through the chair, yes, no problem responding to that. I would say absolutely not. So look, these arrears from prior years are a very, very, very small group of ratepayers. Like we are talking about, if Kirsten was in the room, she could actually name them all. There's only about 10 or 12 of them. You will be aware through prior discussions that we've actually initiated for 3 of these 10 or 12 people. We've actually started down a process of a judgment order, and in fact rating sales potentially for 3 of these properties. One of those parties has actually responded with a payment plan that will see their rates fully paid within the next 18 months or so. The other one where the notice of sale has gone through. We still haven't had a response on that one, and the other one, the last I heard, we were still waiting for the court judgment. So look, and I guess
on clarification, those 3 that you're talking about, the long-term and long-standing ones,
correct.
They would have been in the 58,000 from
Correct.
last year.
Yes, correct.
So it still says that there's a huge increase or a large increase from this year.
Yes. Yep. So through the chair, yes, I guess proportionally there has been a large increase. So there's perhaps there may perhaps be 2 or 3 others in there. Plus of course it would have plus of course even the small number of people that their amounts would have grown between the 2 years as well. So but look, this is really unusual for local government, for a council like this to have such a small number of ratepayers who actually owe rates greater than a year old. That this is like I in my position am the absolute envy of all of local government around us, and in terms of only having 10 or 12 people. I mean, if you look at some of the other councils, even just down the road, they have multiple ratepayers and very significant rate arrears problems. We don't. I tend to talk about these 10 or 12 ratepayers as sticky debt. We're constantly working on, and of recent times, we've actually taken some quite unusual action to indicate how seriously we're pursuing this.
Assurance that it's not an effect of
No.
climate change.
No. Look, it's not. And in fact, the other comforting thing, of course, is if you look at the current year rates, and you can see that, we were at 98% at this time last year. We're at 98% now. I take good heart from the fact that despite COVID, we seem to still be collecting our rates well.
Thank you.
Claire.
To do savings. It's on page 21 sorry. Page 21 of our agenda.
Yeah.
It's a decrease in budget. There's 107,000 for secretary and stationery expenses due to savings being made. And I'm just absolutely amazed about that. I just wondered what that might be. And then there's also other budget decreases, which I presume are actually part of that cost saving exercise to try and keep a lid on the rates increases. Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify that, like the source of the secretarial savings.
Yes, I know that was
amount.
quite a large one, so I'd have to actually just follow up on that for you. But I do know that that was.
Is that in 0.8?
Yeah.
Yeah. So about 2/3 the way this hundreds.
So, I see. Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably unfilled vacancies, but
The employee benefits.
Yeah.
I will follow up with that, and I will send you an email.
To be diligent savings, like relying more on our, iPad stuff and the cloud. Yeah, could be that.
Yeah, look, I can only suggest through the chair because in fact it's an unusual expression as well, isn't it? Particularly the secretarial element of it. I can understand stationery. I mean, council does buy a significant amount of stationery, obviously, but secretarial and stationery is an unusual expression. Look, all I can suggest is that we don't have an answer right now. Let's find that out, and we can circulate exactly what that 107,000 is about.
Certainly.
Cool. Do we have any other questions? No? Okay, so I have a recommendation on page 15 that the financial report be received. Thanks, Claire. Thanks, Roger. All in favour? Contrary, no. It's carried. Thanks, Nada.
Thank you.
Cool. And we move to item 7 and welcome Carol and Bruce.
So just stay here. Conflict.
Yes, no.
Yeah, fine.
Kia ora koutou. The first item, the Cambridge Tree Trust, take the report as read, but just to summarise the key points. The lease to the Cambridge Tree Trust expired earlier this year, and we're proposing to grant a new community lease to the trust. They're well established at their current location. They are after additional area for parking, and our parks team are supportive of this, and the proposed leased area has been adjusted to cater for this. The trust is on part of the Cambridge Town Belt, all of which is vested in council and mostly classified as recreation reserve, and therefore council has the authority to grant a new lease. The trust would like to enter into a new lease with council.
Roger.
Yeah, could you tell me how much the annual lease payment is? It doesn't appear to be in the paper.
Liz, you're not answering that. It's obviously not much.
It's a peppercorn. It's a couple $100 per annum.
Yeah, because
So
they pay $5.
well, $500. Yeah. So
No, just $5. Sorry.
sorry, $5. And that's what they currently pay.
Yeah.
Does it therefore, if there is that level of unsurety about what it is, does it need actually to be in there?
Liz,
Look, I was just going to say, I've met with this group many times, and also more recently on their need for extra parking, essentially, for their growing number of volunteers who do an enormous amount of work in our entire Cambridge and rural communities. So no hesitation and putting forward the recommendations. So happy to
great,
move it.
thanks for mover.
You're fantastic.
Yeah, I think I do it.
Lou beat you to it. So moved by Liz, seconded by Lou. If there's no further discussion, I'll put it. All in favour? Contrary, no. It's carried. Thank you very much. And we'll move to item 8, which is a new community lease for the Te Awamutu Rodden Custom Club and the Te Awamutu Community Cadet Unit Support Trust. It's nice to see people working in. So, Carol.
Okay, thank you. Again, take the report as read, but just to summarise, the lease to the clubs who share the same building expired a fortnight ago, and we're proposing to grant a new community lease to them. They own their building and they've been there at their current site since 2001. Albert Park is vested in council, classified recreation reserve, and again, council has the authority to grant a new lease to the clubs, and they would like to enter into a new lease with council.
Lou.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'd like to support this very much. I have a little bit to do with the community cadets, and although they were in recess a little bit before Christmas, they've actually got a new CO now, and we're re-establishing, and I think they've got 12 cadets operating out of there right now. And it's very important, and the Hot Rod Club and they share very well. They have a great samosa operation with each other, so they don't actually overstep, and put a lot of work in there. They've got a very good arms coat in there, which is actually utilised by the police at times. Most people don't realise, which we actually built from the RSA. So I'd like to support the motion.
And I'd like to second it.
Okay.
Can I ask again the question?
Certainly.
How much is the lease per year?
It's less than $50. I can't tell you
Oh,
exactly.
but it's a
the amount.
peppercorn
Yes.
lease.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I
Oh,
think
sorry.
it's actually essential that we have these levels of lease actually recorded just for our own information.
Right. I think if they were at all significant, that they at least, although there might be some commercial sensitivity. Sorry.
Yes, yeah. Sorry, through the chair. So look, these are all community leases. So I think it is important to note that both the ones that we've talked about here today are community leases. We have a community leases policy that sets the formula in regard to what the lease costs are. So so look, there's really actually no move. There's no ability really to move, is there? It is very much a set formula with these. As opposed to the occasional the occasional commercial lease, of which we have got a few, when we do come to you with a commercial lease, we are very clear in terms of what the actual lease amount is, because those ones, of course, we've got total discretion. That in fact, usually supported by valuation, but we would give you the detail of any commercial lease. If it's a community lease, it's all really peppercorn stuff, and we generally don't put it in the report.
And I'm not questioning whether we should raise or decrease it at all. It's just a question of the quantum. But if you say it's defined by a community lease policy,
Correct.
then that is the definition that I'm after, and I can source that information myself, or you can share it with me.
Bruce.
On page 36, community leasing and a bit of administration charge currently $250.
Thanks, Bruce. Okay, so I think this is pretty straightforward, and I've got a mover and a seconder when Lou and Hazel. Put the motion. All in favour? Contrary? No. So there is no no's. So that is carried. Thank you very much. And we'll move to item 9, release to the Fire and Emergency New Zealand.
Okay, kia ora. So I'll take the report as read as well. This is another community lease that they're out there now. So since 2007, Fire and Emergency New Zealand, or FENZ, and prior to that, the Parongia Volunteer Rural Fire Brigade occupied the site of 766 Franklin Street. The site is held as a local purpose reserve, which is important. There's currently no lease in place with FENZ, and while council can't directly grant a lease to FENZ as the reserve remains vested in the Crown and council is administrator effectively, what we're recommending is that Finance and Corporate Committee recommend to the Minister of Conservation that we enter a lease with FENZ. Any questions?
Right, thanks, Bruce. Yeah.
Look, I don't have any questions. I'm well aware of the excellent work that, the Fire Force does, and I just fully support, the proposal. That's all. Yeah.
So take it you're moving?
Yeah. If there's no
Happy to
other
second.
discussion, yeah.
And this is second. No further discussion. All in favour? Contrary, no. Carried. Thank you very much. And tab 10. Are you going to introduce this one, Kim? No? Or-
Yes, I can. Actually, I would have expected Jo to be here. I'm very surprised she's not. Okay, but look, I'm in Jo's absence. I'm happy to present the report. Oh, sorry, did we go into public excluded property?
We're not, it's not a public.
Oh, it's not. Oh, sorry, it's not a public excluded. Right, so it isn't. Right, my apologies. That's yet to come. Yes, okay, that's yet to come. Oh, look, it's a pretty straightforward item, really. So this is the iwi consultative committee, and clearly we have just changed some of the representation. Well, in fact, the quorum requirements is what we recently changed back in April. But I guess the thing that's developed just in the last few weeks is a request from some of the people who are attending this committee as essentially proxies. So they are saying, look, can we qualify for the meeting fee, and can we qualify for the mileage? Where the actual appointed member is not at the meeting, because of course what we don't want is a double dip here, where two people are being paid the same amount, but where somebody has been asked to be a proxy for an appropriate approved member of the committee, and that approved member of the committee is not there, the proxy is in their place. Can they qualify for the meeting fee and for the mileage reimbursement? And as officers, we looked at that and we felt that was appropriate. Like I say, there is no additional cost to council. These people are giving up their time and incurring costs. So we thought that on that basis that the request was very legitimate, but of course that is something that really does need to be approved at the governance level. Hence the recommendation in front of you. So I think that's fairly clear cut.
Can I ask, compared to what others are paid, or is that appropriate? Is that the same as the amount 100? Put my glasses on.
140.
Is that the same as that we pay to our other members that come, our Māori members that come to our different meetings?
Yep. So through the chair. So look, this is not actually looking at the quantum amount. This fee, the $145, is exactly what's paid to the iwi consultative committee members. So we're not looking to change the quantum of that. We're just saying that where somebody comes as a proxy in somebody else's place, that they get the same $145 and the same mileage, obviously a mileage rate. Of course, they could be coming a different distance. Appreciate that, but they're basically being paid for it, and in the absence of the.
I should have asked that question after we voted.
Oh, okay, right.
That wasn't what I was in. It was that I wasn't inferring. What I was looking at was, does this match?
Yes.
Others.
Okay, so look through the chair. Actually, now that Jo is in the meeting, I mean, Do you know that? Like the question from Councillor Barnes is $145 that clearly we do pay the members of the iwi Consultative Committee as a meeting fee. Is that our general meeting fee right throughout, right through any other comparable circumstances, or is it
Doesn't
unique to
seem
this
very
committee?
large to me.
No, I think it was 2018 that we actually increased it up to 145 in terms of the meeting fee. I am not aware that that anyone else actually receives a meeting fee on any of the committees of council that we have. We have the Te Kanahi now that are on that kind of separate arrangement with an annual sum, but in terms of a meeting fee, I'm not sure that there's any other non-elected members that are paid that. I think some might get paid mileage, but that's not a meeting fee.
I just thought for the work that they put into it, that was a bit light, but we decided that time ago. I remember all the discussion around it. Yeah. I just thought, anyway. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Hazel. Mike.
Here's a question for Joe, and it's specific to this, but also maybe open to any of us. Is there a cap on distance for
That's what
mileage?
I was meaning.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, if I travel from Russell to a meeting, and I go up in a travel claim for 1,000 K, you know, is there a cap? Is there a policy on this? I would hope there is.
One of the things there in terms of the determination order for elected members, there in terms of you get paid a set rate up to, I think it's 10,000 Ks, and then it drops down to 30 something cents a K after that. One of the things that we have been discussing and are looking at probably bringing a report back in August to Finance and Corporate is just maybe putting some more kind of rules around the mileage claims and where you can come from and that thing, but that will come in August Finance and Corporate.
So it's a supplementary question in terms of this then, just so there's a little bit of rigor around it. Is it worth putting something in here just to give us a bit of protection? Because this is going to be quite different to an elected member, obviously, potentially. What you're going to bring back to us as elected
I
member.
think what I think we will look to do in August is tidy up and have the same rules apply to elected members as non-elected members. And if we do that all at the same time, so then we've maybe not got one kind of decision on that today and one later, and they could be different. I think we'll wrap it up in August. That'd be really good.
Yes. And the next meeting is it's in September, so that would. No, but thanks for that, Mike.
August.
It's only July.
For the iwi Consultative.
Oh, sorry. Right, sorry. iwi Consultative.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Sorry, we're talking across people.
It's all good. All good. Okay, so any further discussion? Thanks, Mike, and a seconder. Thanks, Philip. All in favour? Contrary, no. It's carried. Thanks, Joe. Accepted. All right, now tab 11, resolution